Welcome to the Claritas 2025 Demographic and Cartographic Updates webinar. The last couple of Claritas updates have included our transition to the 2020 census. We no longer have additional 2020 census data to add this year. However, we do have some other significant changes that I wanted to take some time to walk through with you today. So we'll start off with our cartographic updates because we do have a major county change this year as we move to the Connecticut Planning Regions, because the Census Bureau is now using these as county equivalents. And what this means is that the county boundaries, FIPS codes, and names have all changed to reflect these regions in the state of Connecticut. And there are 9 planning regions compared to the 8 counties that we had before. Additionally, the codes changed for the following geographic levels to reflect the planning region FIPS codes. However, the physical areas do remain the same. And this includes blocks, block groups, census tracts, and minor civil divisions, or MCDs, which are also known as county subdivisions. And cross-references are available with both the old and new FIPS codes for these, so please contact your Claritas representative if you would find that helpful for this transition. We also have some updates to our other geographies. The following levels underwent typical annual updates, including zip codes, Nielsen designated market areas, or DMAs, and our landline telecommunications areas, which include wire centers, as well as LATs and LECs, which are built from the wire center level. Metropolitan areas were also updated based on the latest definitions from the Office of Management Budget, or the OMB. And these OMB updates are based on the 2020 census, so there are more changes than you would have in a typical update year. And this includes our core-based statistical areas, or CBSAs, which contain both the metropolitan and micropolitan statistical areas, as well as combined statistical areas, or CSAs, which are groups of adjacent CBSAs. I also wanted to take some time to talk about the PopFacts roster changes that occurred this year. So we do have some minor updates based on the American Community Survey, or the ACS. So our current year and 5-year occupied housing units by year householder moved in categories had the last 3 ranges replaced as follows. 2010 to 2014 was replaced with 2010 to 2017. 2015 to 2018 was replaced with 2018 to 2020, and 2019 or later was replaced with 2021 or later. So this is good because it gives you insights into more recent moves, particularly post-pandemic moves after 2021. And this impacts the owner and renter occupied units in PopFacts Advanced, so 12 variables total between the current year and 5-year. And it impacts the total owner and renter occupied units in PopFacts Premier, so 18 variables total in that data set. And finally today, I wanted to just do a quick research and development update. So the first thing I wanted to do is follow up on the Census Ancestry and Origin data that we were talking about on last year's webinar, because the Census Bureau did indeed release the detailed DHCA with this data on September 21st, 2023. So we researched this, and here's what we found. Due to privacy concerns, the data was not available at the block group level, which is something that we did expect based on previous communications from the Census Bureau. Additionally, as expected, the level of detail also varied for other geographies due to privacy concerns. So, for example, you have much greater detail for this data at the national level than you do for a county or for a census tract. We also found that the data was difficult to work with due to data items not adding up exactly because of privacy edits. So what I mean by that is you may have a region of the world and then different origins that fall into that region. And those origins wouldn't add up to their parent region because of these privacy edits. Based on all of that, we decided that the best course of action for us to take was to compare the national percentages of the Asian and Hispanic or Latino origin groups in this data to our most recent Claritas estimates, which are based on the American Community Survey, or the ACS. And what we found is that the percentages were very close, which means the ACS is doing a good job representing these populations. And this is good news because that means there's no need for us to change our method to move away from the ACS. And the ACS data is a great source because that is updated annually and they're constantly doing surveys. We also have a few other updates that I wanted to share with you. So PopFacts does have a few methodology enhancements this year. The main thing is that we have new source data for workday population estimates in PopFacts Advanced. This includes the longitudinal employer household dynamics, or LEHD data from the Census Bureau, which is a great source for this because it gives us fresh information on populations where they live versus where they work. And we also supplemented that with installation-specific counts of active duty military and civilian personnel from the Defense Manpower Data Center, or DMDC. So that's great for military areas. Otherwise, we're making small improvements to a few items. You can read more about those in our methodology document as well as our release notes. And then finally, we're still researching some potential improvements to the culture code models that'll be coming out later this year. And that includes our LGBT population estimates, our religion estimates, and the remaining workday population measures by race and ethnicity. So if you're receiving any of those data items, either standalone or as part of AMDS, hopefully we'll have more information to share on those later in the year. Or if you're interested in getting this data, you can reach out to your Claritas representative and they'll be happy to send you information on them. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this information valuable.